Hello there, and welcome to the Construction Revolution podcast. My name is Stephen Rossi, and here on the show, we explore the latest trends, technologies, people, and organizations that are revolutionizing or disrupting the construction industry and are changing what the industry will look like tomorrow. Today on the show, I'm speaking with Jon Sibley, the founder and CEO of TrueBuilt. Jon is a former Team USA and NCAA athlete. He also holds an MBA from USC Marshall. Jon and his co-founder, Julian Prokay, saw an opportunity to revolutionize pre-construction by bringing an end-to-end software solution to the market. This vision led them to create TrueBuilt, a technology company that is redefining pre-construction for general contractors, subcontractors, and developers. By using AI-powered solutions, companies can minimize risk while increasing profitability. Tune in to learn more about the story of TrueBuilt and how the TrueBuilt software is transforming pre-construction. Hi, Jon. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing? How's your day been so far?
Oh, it's been great. I'm in Southern California. It's a beautiful day out. Live right by the beach, so can't complain. We're really busy here at TrueBuilt right now. We're hiring and interviewing quite a few people, and having that type of productivity and is very exciting for us and the next phase of growth we're entering.
Yeah, that's great. Let's dive right into it. So can you tell me a little bit about the story behind TrueBuilt?
Yeah, so to just set the stage for a second, TrueBuilt's creating the first end-to-end modern pre-construction platform. And when we think about the pre-construction software landscape, it's quite fragmented. And some of our customers, before they came onto TrueBuilt, were often using 8 to 10 different softwares, platforms, service providers to complete the pre-construction workflow. So our end vision is to be that end-to-end pre-con platform. Now, when I think back to last year when my co-founder, Julian Prokay, and CTO, co-founder and CTO, Julian Prokay and I, first got together, we were really looking at the last 2 years, the pricing volatility when it came to materials, the supply chain issues when it came to equipment. And we realized that pre-construction has never been tougher or more crucial than in the last 2 years. And so that got us thinking about, all right, what kind of software can we create that will really optimize that process? And as we started talking to advisors and early customers, we came to realize that no one had created that end-to-end workflow. So the first 6 months we spent, building the product. We released our MVP, our initial product in end of January of this year. And since then, we've been able to scale up sales across the country, and excited to announce that we just closed our seed funding as well, led by B&V Capital, which is a vertical SaaS VC, Fifth Wall, which is a top, if not the top, prop tech VC. And then we were able to include one of our customers as well, which is a pretty validating and fulfilling thing for me as well, just because they had shown that faith and kind of that end vision.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, congratulations on that first round of funding. I know that's definitely a big step and quick too, especially if you're just launching from just launching your MVP a few months ago. That must be very validating for you.
Yeah, validating for kind of the vision, and now we're just so excited to grow the team. I was going to mention this at the end too, but we're hiring for all types of roles right now: sales, customer success. We're hiring for actually a pre-con manager and estimator to bring in-house to really up-level our knowledge, and software engineers, of course, as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So can you tell me a bit more about the key features of the platform? And you mentioned that how it's going to be how it is the first sort of end-to-end solution. So how different stakeholders on projects, so builders, subcontractors, and developers can use those different benefits?
Yeah, so the idea behind all the features and tools that we build is, number one, pre-construction should be a competitive advantage for savvy general contractors and subcontractors. The better that we can, estimate a job, the more we can plan it out earlier on, the less change orders and risk we're going to have on site. Pre-construction is also the point where, those different stakeholders start aligning and start getting visibility into what everyone else will be doing for the project. One of our customers, their very first project on TrueBuilt, their general contractor out in Dallas, they sent out the bid packages to, 30 different trades for the subs and invited, 200 subs into the platform. And that was that first, realization that you can have so many stakeholders on the TrueBuilt platform and really starting to get aligned there. But our design philosophy has been, how do we build the most robust yet flexible tools? Everyone in the industry will tell you, everyone does pre-construction a bit differently. And that's a common thread we've seen. And in my opinion, and it's just the personal conclusion I've come to is I really believe that the software world as a whole has failed pre-construction individuals and professionals. And what these pre-con folks are left with is this kind of patchwork approach of putting different softwares together, coming back to Excel because Excel is the most flexible tool in the world to really complete the entire pre-con process. And we think that's not acceptable in 2023. So one, we're trying to build the entire workflow, pre-construction workflow on the TrueBuilt platform, starting with takeoff, then getting into estimation, bid management, subcontractor management, all the way up to procurement. We have some expansion ideas beyond that as well, but I think, first and foremost, we need to do an amazing job at pre-construction and, make sure everyone's taken care of there. So besides being, on-prem and cloud-based, which is what we consider kind of the basis for being a modern software, TrueBuilt's really trying to leverage the latest in NLP and machine learning to really speed up the workflow. And obviously, AI is like a super buzzword right now. Everyone's getting into ChatGPT. I actually was at a natural language processing firm right after college in the Bay Area and was there until the company got acquired in 2018. Back then, NLP could organize unstructured data and organize language data and maybe do a tiny bit of contextualization, but it couldn't truly analyze and understand that language data. And now we're at a point where it's generating that data. So it's been pretty cool to see how that's developed, going from organizing to like actually generating it itself. But yeah, I think, one take home for your listeners is like AI is super buzzy right now. I would encourage people to start testing out, getting involved. On the TrueBuilt platform, we have the TrueBuilt Assistant, and this assistant is supposed to be with you the entire pre-construction workflow. We are creating something right now that can read and analyze a blueprint, hopefully within a certain degree of accuracy. But it's not like ChatGPT where, getting 80% of the way there is like a good start and then you can go finish it. It's a blueprint or it's a spec book. It needs to be 100% right 100% of the time. So we're doing a ton of testing on that front, and we're really making sure that we nail that because when it comes to building, we have to be exact. And again, the entire thesis of this, can we produce a more accurate estimate? Because that's going to impact the profitability of the project for all those different stakeholders.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point on, this in construction, obviously developing software, whether you're using AI or not, it needs to obviously be super accurate all of the time, no matter what is being put in. And because, the implications of those projects are obviously massive. So you mentioned sort of something that I found interesting is that right now in pre-construction, sort of, there are like software does exist, obviously, but it's sort of segmented and siloed, and there's nothing really that people can use to bring it all together. But can you sort of explain how TrueBuilt differs from some of those existing pre-con softwares?
Yeah, so I think, on the very front end, you do have some legacy providers that are still being used for their on-prem solution. One of our customers, I think they do like $1.2 billion a year, very, very big firm. And they're plugging in a flash drive to an old Dell computer and, passing that computer around to complete takeoff. And it's a very robust tool that they use, but it's on-prem and you can't collaborate. You don't get the advantages of modern software. And again, we really think that's wrong. And then on the other side, not being that full stack solution where you see all of your pre-con processes as an estimator in one place, that just opens up so much more room for error. Everything keeps coming back to an Excel sheet that people can access. And sure, through Microsoft, you can do a little bit of collaboration, but there's a lot of possibility for error when you start getting into that. So I think first and foremost, it's becoming cloud based and then providing that end to end solution. And we're not fully there with the end to end solution, but that is the vision of what we're building. The third piece of what we're differentiating on is this AI tool, and we have a few through our AI assistant right now. Again, that's something we're being very, very careful on training to make sure we exactly nail it. But you can come through, use the AI tool to ask it to look through your historical structured data, cost estimates from similar projects. You can go through the spec book for that particular project, and really start having this kind of conversation with the assistant and start, automating parts of the workflow. And going back to what we were saying earlier about like AI being so popular to discuss right now, there's a decent amount of fear about it, right? Like people are like, oh, is this going to replace my job? That kind of thing. And we've really, taken that into account when we think about how we're building our AI assistant. We really see this as, instead of being artificial intelligence, it's almost augmented intelligence. It's boosting and augmenting your workflow. It's not going to replace your workflow. And you, as a construction estimator and pre-construction manager, like you have all that experience, all that expertise. Like allow us through our AI assistant to take away the annoying parts of the job, the very automatable for us part of the job, and you can come in with your expertise and put your lens on it. And striking that balance is very, very difficult, but it is a challenge that our team enjoys. And I think as we get more and more people piloting the TrueBuilt AI assistant, we'll start to learn, all right, like, this is where we should really automate things. And this is where, that true knowledge expert, has to still remain in control.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great point across not only pre-construction, but all aspects of construction. When we're starting to introduce AI tools, I think your point is right on. Like when the expertise and the knowledge that everyone in the industry has is really important to keep, and it's the AI is sort of there to help you use that to the best of its possibilities based on all the data that it can analyze. So diving into AI and the machine learning and NLP a little deeper, you've sort of touched on what it does right now, like in the TrueBuilt software, but can you explain like the future applications that you see and what you guys are working on now, and also sort of long-term, what you envision TrueBuilt being able to do with those new technologies?
Yeah. So, long term, I think there is opportunity to really automate a lot of this process. I can't share too much of what we're doing on the blueprint side right now, but I think the actual act of takeoff, there's a huge opportunity to use computer vision to automate a lot of that. Estimation is so complicated and so custom to that actual project that I think, that there will be certainly a period where you can automate some of that. But I think, that's kind of where that human knowledge and expertise comes in, because, someone's done this same type of job for 20 years and, knows more than what the machine is going to know. That said, I think you can create tools to kind of boost that and, help that estimator more quickly search their historical data, search their historical spec books, and really extract that data out like very, very quickly and have that be plugged back into the estimate, or be able to leverage that information and add that to a takeoff. And I think, again, having that all in one place is something that hasn't quite been done before. And then you add this, lever of AI, and this thing becomes supercharged.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you mentioned earlier, and we also, like I saw on your social media that you sort of launched your first MVP earlier this year and had those first set of customers using TrueBuilt. How did you and your team sort of feel when that happened?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the whole story. We went out to Arizona to onboard our very first customer. At that point, we had signed kind of pre-sales, had signed a few customers, and I'd been working with these firms for a while to get their input on what they needed. And I'm on site. I'm in this boardroom at this very beautiful building that this general contractor. So it was a design build firm. sits in, and we can't get them logged in. So we spent about 30 minutes trying just to get them logged into the first one. So, here I'm sweating bullets and, have my CTO and engineers on the phone. And finally we figured it out for them. After that, onboarding has been very smooth for everyone else. We definitely took some key learnings there. And it's been an amazing experience to work with our current customers and, talk to prospective ones as well. I think something our entire team is really united behind is when you talk to these builders, you really encounter this sense of pride, whether it's, someone who, like my dad, who was, a trench plate subcontractor, or one of our advisors who's the CEO of a $2 billion business. Like, there's an immense sense of pride of, looking at that construction site or building that's complete and said, like, I built that. I had a hand in building that. And that sense of pride is something we try to bring into building TrueBuilt now. And, we really think we're serving such an integral part of American society. And we think pre-construction has been this underlooked secret competitive advantage that these builders should be able to take advantage of. And that's really driving and motivating our team to continue to put the best product out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. So with those, after you sort of got everybody logged in, can you share like a sort of standout application from one of those initial customers you've had?
Yeah, so I think one of the ones that stands out in the early days, the very, very early days, is firm on the TrueBuilt platform was using us to build a K through 12 school. They sent out a bunch of bid packages, got replies back. In some cases, in some cases they didn't. On the ones they didn't, they had to use the TrueBuilt directory to find new subcontractors and trade partners that they hadn't worked before. And until then, our directory really hadn't been tested. But they were actually able to get in touch with new ones and, in a very quick way, like find out, okay, we're going to work with these ones now. And it's a bit easier to show, but the TrueBuilt platform does a very good job of automatically bid leveling and making suggestions on what subcontractor to work with. And I think in this case, it was very helpful for, a new user, a new customer on the TrueBuilt platform to see that and, see a bit more automation than what they're used to when it comes to bid leveling.
Absolutely. Yeah. I could see how much convenience that much add and time savings as well. That's great. So when we were looking into sort of your background, I know you played some high level water polo in college and a good bit after that. I'm wondering how you went from being a top performing athlete to starting a tech construction company, and if any of those skills or experiences have helped you.
Yeah. It's easy answer is yes. They've definitely helped me. So played water polo at UC Berkeley. Cal's one of the top programs for water polo, and also got to play for the USA team. Didn't go to the Olympics, but went to World Cup and World Final. And, that experience of, being in this highly disciplined environment, working together with a team towards a common goal, holding ourselves to championship standards. That's exactly how I want to run TrueBuilt and how we are running TrueBuilt. And I think, early on, we only have 7 people right now. And, we're growing very fast after this funding. It's how that culture is something that we need to keep. And I'd say that's the biggest learning that I've had from water polo is, how do you get a group of individuals from different backgrounds, maybe with slightly different goals, slightly different priorities in life and inside the pool. How do we get everyone together, working on the same page, functioning together, and headed towards that common championship together? And that's something that's challenging, but also for me is a very fulfilling and something that I just personally really like to do. And I see, starting and building my own company alongside Julian, my co-founder, is kind of the ultimate iteration of achieving that championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great approach. And yeah, team sports definitely can teach everyone a lot, and especially if at such a high level, I could see how that would translate well. So one sort of last question before we wrap up is like we've touched on sort of AI and machine learning and stuff, but I'm wondering, other than those things, if there's any sort of technology or innovative and revolutionary technology you've seen in the construction industry that that you're excited about.
I'm very fascinated by all the innovation that's coming out with 3D printing, especially on a much larger scale. I saw a demo at a conference last summer of a company. I think it might have been based in Singapore, and it was just like pouring concrete and essentially doing 3D printing with concrete, but from these like giant cranes, and just the possibilities of that are crazy. And then us being aligned with Fifth Wall as well. Obviously they have a big push into climate tech, and I think there's a huge opportunity for innovation when it comes to climate, and real estate is a huge part of what affects the climate. And I think we'll see a lot more companies be very successful in that industry in the next 10 years.
Awesome. So just to wrap up, if people want to learn more about TrueBuilt and get started on this using the software, where should they go, and what does that process look like?
Yep. You can go to TrueBuiltSoftware.com. We don't have any funky startup spelling. It's spelled exactly like it sounds. You can request a demo there. We have a pretty cool demo process that I think is a bit different from others. It's not going to ask you to schedule a meeting with us in 2 weeks. Like, someone will give you a demo right then on the spot. Other than that, you can reach me at Jon, Jon, at TrueBuiltSoftware.com. And like I said, we're hiring, we're speaking with advisors, we're looking for, construction firms that might have an interest in our AI tool or a modern pre-con tool. And it's been less than a year of TrueBuilt, but, I have yet to turn down the conversation. So happy to take anyone on and, have these discussions with you personally.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining the show today, and thanks for your time. And I'm excited to see where TrueBuilt's going to go.
I appreciate it. Pleasure was mine.